What if I told you that an act considered private, masturbation, holds crucial secrets about your health that most men over 60 are completely unaware of? I'm Dr. Jane, and here at the Male Secret 60 Plus channel, we get straight to the point. Today, I'm going to reveal 5 surprising truths about masturbation in maturity that can transform your understanding of men's well-being. Think about this. The American Urological Association highlights sexual health as a pillar of overall health, yet it's the most neglected topic in older men. Let's change that. Our approach is purely medical and informative, designed to empower you through knowledge. Plus, at the end, I'll share an exclusive resource so you can take action on what you learn here. Now let me share what's happening in your body. Imagine the nerves in your genital region as the most sensitive fibers of a precision musical instrument. They're designed to pick up the subtlest nuances of touch and send vital signals to the brain. It's the brain that, in response, coordinates the blood flow necessary for healthy erectile function. The challenge is that, over decades, many men unknowingly adopt what we might call an excessive pressure technique. It's a method focused on high friction and intensity, often without proper lubrication, with the primary goal of reaching climax quickly. This repeated practice, day after day, year after year, can wear down those nerve endings. They lose sensitivity, as if they become fatigued or overloaded. The best analogy is this. It's like listening to music at maximum volume every day. Over time, your ability to appreciate softer, more delicate sounds diminishes drastically. Similarly, your nervous system may stop responding to the subtler natural stimuli of a partner. But the deeper impact happens in your brain. It undergoes neural reconditioning. It becomes accustomed to needing that maximum level of stimulation to even begin a physiological response. Gentle touch, warmth, intimacy, all of that can become insufficient to activate the circuit. And that's exactly why I said that no medication can fix the root of the problem. Medications for erectile dysfunction can help with the vascular aspect, meaning blood flow. But they can't repair worn-out nerves. And more importantly, they don't rewire decades of brain conditioning. It's like having a car with a full tank, but the control panel that starts the engine isn't responding to the command. That's the first and most crucial truth. But recognizing the pattern is the first step toward change. And that change leads us directly to our second secret, which is about how to start recalibrating this system. Think of your nervous system as a student that learns through repetition. By always using the same pressure, the same rhythm, and the same visual stimulus for years, you're essentially teaching your body to respond only to that scenario. It's deep conditioning. Over time, the nerve endings in your genital region get accustomed and start demanding more, requiring stronger stimulation to achieve the same result. It's exactly the same principle as tolerance to medications. And what science shows us about this is, frankly, alarming. A landmark study in the Journal of Sexual Medicine tracked 1,200 men aged 60 to 80. The result is a wake-up call for all of us. Men who used high-pressure and rapid stimulation techniques were 3 times more likely to develop delayed ejaculation and 4 times more likely to face complete erectile dysfunction within just 5 years. Understand what this means? It's not a maybe, it's a clear statistical risk. The most tragic part, and I see this every week in my practice, is men who arrive defeated, thinking age has broken their bodies. They've tried everything, pills, supplements, devices, but they're fighting the symptom, not the cause. The root cause is almost never addressed, the incorrect conditioning of the nervous system over decades. And here's where most men are shocked. Think of it as a domino effect on your health. The same neural pathways that control sexual function are the same ones that support your bladder control, bowel regularity, and lower back stability. When the first domino, nerve sensitivity, falls, it starts knocking down the others. That's why issues like incontinence, chronic pelvic pain, or mysterious lower back pain can arise. They're not random. They're part of the same chain of events. But the solution isn't simply to stop, and by doing so, you fall into an equally dangerous trap that most men fall into. Now brace yourself, because what I'm about to say turns upside down what many men believe about aging. The paradox of men's health is this: while incorrect practice can be harmful, the complete absence of that practice can be even more dangerous for your prostate. Think of your prostate as a high-efficiency filtration system. For a filter to work well, fluid needs to pass through it regularly to keep it clear. What science shows us is fascinating. A monumental study from Harvard School of Public Health, which tracked nearly 30,000 men for 18 years, proved this. Men who kept that flow active, ejaculating 21 or more times per month, had a 1/3 lower risk of developing prostate cancer. The World Health Organization confirms this frequency acts like an internal flush, helping to expel substances that could cause inflammation. When fluid sits stagnant, it becomes an ideal environment for problems. But what happens when that filter clogs goes beyond the prostate, and there's more to this story. But here's the detail from the Harvard study that's rarely discussed, the information tucked between the lines. The protective effect was even more pronounced when ejaculation resulted from solo activity. Why? The most accepted theory is that masturbation allows what we might call a complete system flush, a more efficient drainage of the prostate in a controlled environment without the introduction of external variables. Now understand what's at stake. The American Cancer Society tells us that 1 in 8 men will face prostate cancer. Look at 7 of your friends. Statistically, 1 of you will go through it. But what this study suggests is that you can actively lower your odds, especially of developing the more aggressive forms of the disease. This goes beyond cancer prevention. It's about maintaining the health of one of the most crucial glands for male vitality. And the most frustrating part is that despite the evidence being clear as day, this is the conversation missing in 99% of doctors' offices. And that silence, that lack of guidance, causes damage that doesn't show up in blood tests, psychological damage. Now, let's talk about the invisible enemy, the secret I see eroding men's health every day, but rarely appears in medical textbooks. It's not a virus or a disease, it's shame, the guilt and shame that our culture, for generations, has associated with male sexuality and maturity are a silent poison. And the impact of this has been measured, and the numbers are shocking. The National Institute of Mental Health found that men who feel forced to suppress their sexuality due to shame don't just get a little sadder. They face a 340% higher risk of depression, a 280% higher risk of anxiety, and a devastating 450% higher risk of social isolation. Finally, the medical community is waking up to this. The American Psychological Association now classifies sexual shame in older adults as what it truly is, a public health crisis. Think of shame as driving your car with the handbrake on. You might still move, but the engine is under constant stress, overheating, and everything wears out faster. That's exactly what shame does to your body. That chronic stress manifests physically, resulting in higher rates of heart disease, autoimmune disorders, and a shorter life. But here's the most beautiful and liberating part. The moment a man consciously decides to release that handbrake, when he overcomes shame and reconnects with his body in a healthy way, the improvements are almost immediate and measurable. Blood pressure stabilizes. Sleep becomes deeper. The fog of depression begins to lift, and mental clarity returns. Your body doesn't need to be fixed. It knows how to be healthy. You just have to stop burdening it with the tension of shame. And this idea of healing and reconnection leads us to our 4th secret about how sexual activity impacts a vital hormone for men. But to ensure you can truly act on what we've discussed, I want to give you the tool to do so. As I promised at the start, I prepared a gift for you. It's my in-depth health guide, a passion project of many years. In it, I've compiled the most effective, scientifically backed natural strategies to revitalize the body, covering everything we've talked about here and much more. To download your free copy, scan the QR code on the screen, or use the link in the description and pinned comment. My sincere wish is that it serves as your companion on the journey to feeling your best every day. Now that you have your guide, let's continue the conversation. Let's now address one of the biggest lies told to men about aging, that your testosterone engine is destined to fail and there's nothing you can do about it. That's completely false. Think of your body as having a testosterone factory. Research from the University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine shows that sexual activity is the key that turns that factory on. Arousal and orgasm send a signal from your brain, from the pituitary gland in the form of luteinizing hormone, directly to the factory with a clear order. Start production. When you stop engaging in sexual activity, you're not breaking the factory. You're simply stopping the orders. The factory goes idle, and that communication pathway falls asleep, accelerating the decline you mistakenly attribute solely to age. And it's not just me saying this. A landmark study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology observed 2,400 men aged 65 to 85 for 7 long years to see exactly how this works. Here are the results of that study, and they're the closest thing to a biological time machine science has ever found. Men who maintained regular sexual activity, at least twice a week, didn't just boost testosterone. They had levels comparable to men 10 to 15 years younger. Think about what that means. It's not just a number on a test, it's what that number represents: stronger bones, maintained muscle mass, a sharper mind, and a better protected heart. You're actively sending a signal to your body. We're still in the game. And your body responds, maintaining the hormonal production necessary for vitality. On the flip side, inactivity has a real cost. Low testosterone isn't just about libido, it's a risk factor for diabetes, stroke, and dementia. And to put a final point on it, pay attention to this number from the Mayo Clinic. Men with low testosterone have twice the risk of dying from any cause. But the most extraordinary news, and what leads us to our final point, is how quickly we can turn this around. And this is the part I love sharing with my patients the most because it's where hope becomes reality. I've seen, with my own eyes, men reactivate their own hormonal system, boosting their testosterone levels by 25, even 35%, in as little as 60 days. And how did they do it? Without a single injection. No patches, no expensive treatments. They did it the way nature designed, by reconnecting with healthy sexual activity and consciously managing stress. It's proof that your body has an innate capacity to heal. But, and this is a very important but, all this progress can be sabotaged. There's a hidden threat to this delicate hormonal balance, one that most men are exposed to every day without realizing it, and that brings us to our fifth and final secret. This final secret is perhaps the most critical health warning I can give to men over 60. The way the adult content industry is designed is literally hijacking your brain's reward system with consequences that can accelerate cognitive decline. The mechanism is frighteningly effective. That hyperstimulating material floods your brain with a dopamine surge that's 200 to 400% more intense than any natural sexual experience. This activates the same reward pathways exploited by heavy substance addiction. Think about it. Your brain becomes so overwhelmed that its currency of pleasure is devalued. The normal joys of life, including real intimacy with a partner, simply can't compete. They become poor in comparison. But the real threat to an aging brain is even more sinister. And the direct neurological evidence for this comes from one of the world's most respected research centers. A University of Cambridge study mapped out what happens. Men over 60 who regularly consume this type of content show an accelerated decline in what I call your brain's CEO, your executive function, the ability to plan and make decisions. Their processing speed slows. The brain literally becomes slower, and their working memory shrinks. Now, pay close attention to this final sentence. These are precisely the same three functions that dementia attacks first. In other words, regular use of this material forces your brain to rehearse dementia symptoms, and the scientific community is now confirming the most feared link. The Alzheimer's Association recognizes that this chronic dopamine overload can accelerate neurodegenerative diseases. Brain scans don't lie. In some regular users, the brain's physical structure, gray matter density, neural connections, starts to resemble that of patients in the early stages of Alzheimer's. And here's the cruelest trick this condition plays. It convinces you that your body is broken. It creates such unrealistic expectations that real intimacy becomes frustrating. Many men come to my office believing they have untreatable erectile dysfunction. In reality, they have a software problem, not a hardware one. It's a screen-induced dysfunction, an entirely reversible condition. The solution is beautifully simple. Turn off the screen. Reconnect with your natural hardware. Use your imagination. Focus on touch, on sensations. Protect your brain while reaping all the health benefits we've discussed. And by protecting your brain and body, you defend against many dangers. But I'd be failing you if I didn't reveal the danger that overshadows all others. It's not cancer or heart disease. It's a silent force called progressive isolation, and the science proving its destructive power will shock you. The Harvard study of adult development, the longest study of human life ever conducted, gives us the final answer. Men who maintain a connection with their sexuality, including masturbation, don't just live longer. They live better, with sharper minds and stronger social bonds. Why? Because sexual activity is a signal of vitality you send to your own body. It's a biological declaration that says, I'm still here, I'm still living. When that signal stops, the silence is interpreted by your body as an order to enter a systemic shutdown mode. Testosterone production drops, immunity weakens, inflammation spikes. Your body starts preparing for the endgame. But the greatest tragedy isn't isolation from others. It's becoming a stranger to yourself. That emotional disconnection from your body isn't depression. It's being a ghost in your own machine. The solution isn't complex, but it requires courage. You must reignite that conversation. Reclaim your right to pleasure at any age through gentle, mindful, present touch. Free of guilt, free of shame, and free of the distortion of artificial stimulation. Let's consolidate the pillars of men's health that can add years to your life and life to your years. Pillar 1. Mindful practice. The habit of using excessive pressure is actively training your body for dysfunction. The solution isn't to stop, but to recalibrate your nervous system with slower, varied, mindful touch, rediscovering your body's natural response. Pillar 2. The prostate protocol. Abstinence is a risk, not a virtue. Harvard science gave us a clear number. 21 ejaculations per month lower prostate cancer risk by a third. Think of it not as recreation, but as your monthly prescription for longevity. Pillar 3. Liberation from shame. The silent poison of sexual shame causes chronic stress that accelerates aging. When you free yourself from it, your body responds almost immediately. Blood pressure stabilizes, sleep improves, and your mind sharpens. Physical healing begins with mental peace. Pillar 4. The hormonal factory. Sexual activity isn't optional. It's the command that keeps your testosterone factory running, with increases of up to 40%. This translates to more strength, denser bones, and a clearer mind. Pillar 5. The authentic mind. Artificial content is rewiring your brain for decline. The solution is a digital detox. Protecting your mind means choosing imagination and real physical connection over screen overstimulation. Pillar 6. The vital connection. This is the pillar that holds all the others. Sexual isolation sends a shutdown signal to your body, compromising immunity and accelerating inflammation. Maintaining a healthy connection with your body isn't just a good idea. It's perhaps the most powerful factor in your longevity. And now, the conversation continues with you. I genuinely want to know, which of these pillars resonated with you the most today? Share your biggest takeaway in the comments below. Your experience is what builds the strength and wisdom of this community. Thank you for having the courage to prioritize your health and for being part of this vital conversation. Remember, your journey to well-being is yours, but you don't have to walk it alone. To continue this conversation and join a community of men dedicated to taking control of their aging, I invite you to subscribe to the Male Secret 60 Plus channel and click the bell. Together, let's keep uncovering the secrets to a full and purposeful life. Here's to your continued vitality and well-being at every stage of life.